iPhone 15 Pro. It's probably the most disappointing iPhone experience that I've ever had. And it's frustrating because I do like the phone and I want to like the phone more, but then there's just issues with reality that keep me from being able to do that, like the terrible battery life on here. And it's funny, I was taking a look at it because you know that you can check and see how many charging cycles you've had. So they say that it's rated for basically 500 charging cycles. That's 100% battery recharging over the course of 2 years. So at the end of 2 years, your phone's probably going to be at about 80% battery life. Now, just taking a look at that, mine, I have already 11 charging cycles in 8 days. I'm going on my 12th charging cycle. I just had to put it on the charger again. The only reason this phone has even lasted me throughout the day while I was on my trip the last 3 days is because of the external battery pack, the MagSafe Apple battery pack. Been a lifesaver. So that's just the reality for me. I like the screen. I generally like the cameras. I like the form factor. I like the slightly rounded off edges. I love the action button. It's just something as simple as being able to program it for the flashlight, and it makes me so happy. I like that you can get all this power and sophistication in a handheld size phone. You don't have to have the big gigantic phone, and that's what I like. This is the iPhone 15 Pro Max versus the 15 Pro here. There's a substantial difference in the size. There's a difference in the weight, and I don't want to use it. I've talked about this a lot. I'm going to use it. I'm going to go ahead and switch over to the 15 Pro Max, test it out for a couple of days. One of these is going to go back to Apple, and I'm going to talk more about that at the end of the video. But I think that Apple did a lot of things pretty good here. I like the price didn't go up. I like that it's still $9.99. I like that they gave these couple new things. The bezels are a little smaller around the screen, if your eyes can even tell a difference. It does have the titanium frame. There have been some snafus, right? We've talked about there have been some heating issues, and there's two different distinct heating issues with this phone. One is when it charges. The other is when it just randomly gets hot while you're using it. And Apple has actually come out and said, we made a mistake. There are some bugs here that might be causing that issue. The other thing they said is, well, in the first like week or couple of days of using the phone, it could heat up more than usual because of the background task. So that's every single phone, and that's not really what people are experiencing here. Yes, I tell people first 2 days of any phone, don't put don't put any credit into heat related stuff because you're doing a lot more than you would normally do. You're downloading all your apps, you're setting everything up, and you're just using it so much because it's brand new, straight out of the box, all those things. So I give it a couple of days before I really put any weight into heat related issues. So mine still flares up. I'll just be randomly doing something like scrolling through Twitter or Instagram or whatever, and then it's like, wow, why is my phone hot? So there is going to be a patch. Apple is going to put out a software update here probably very soon that's supposed to address that. We'll see what happens post software update and see if that changes much, but I don't know that that's going to change the charging related issues, which they haven't really addressed. So there's that. Also, we'll talk about the fragility of it. So it's possible that you can basically smash in the back of your phone. Like you could do one of these numbers and do like a German suplex with your fingers on the back of this phone, crack the glass. You can actually cave in the back of the phone. Here's what they did. So with this phone, previously on the last episode of The Walking Dead, so before Carl died, when we talk about the iPhone, previously it would cost like $500 to replace the back if you screwed it up because of the way that they built it. Yes, previous iPhones were more durable. Now they've sacrificed a little bit of that durability to make it easier to replace this. So from what I'm hearing, if you screw up the back now, it's like $200 to fix it instead of $500, and it's less intricate, like it's less involved. So I think that's fine. I'm not too worried about this thing just spontaneously breaking on you. Maybe don't put it in your back pocket if you're worried about bending it or messing it up that way. I don't know who does that anyway. I'm team front pocket, or usually just walk around with it in my hand. So yeah, I'm not too worried about the hardware reliability from that perspective. I think it's fine. I mean, it's still got an IP68 dust and water resistance. You've got these fancy cameras on here. I think the cameras take good pictures. I've enjoyed taking pictures with it. One thing I like about the iPhone is it has a fast shutter speed. It's pretty reliable. It takes some nice looking photos. You've got the newer sensor stuff going on, and it still has the one crappy thing that pisses me off with this phone, and that is that you still get the halos. you still get the lens flare. And we've been using the same camera housing design for like what, 4 years now? 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. We're on the fifth generation of them giving us these same cameras that keep creating those lens flare rings, and it drives me insane. They have put a new coating on here, and I had said something on Twitter earlier like, "Oh my gosh, this is still hasn't been fixed." I was in New York City. A lot of you know this. I went up there for a work event, and I just happened to be walking down Broadway, and I saw the Moulin Rouge theater that they use there, and I wanted to take a picture because I thought it would look really nice. And bam, lens flare, and I can't like you can't get rid of it. It's stuck there when you take the photo, and it just kind of ruins things. So overall, during the daytime, as long as you don't have any crazy light sources, it's pretty good. But when you get those point light sources, or especially a lot of lighting when you're taking pictures or video at nighttime, how is this a pro level phone 5 years into this garbage and we're still dealing with this, right? So I have noticed it doesn't seem like it makes you look as orange. That was a big issue that I had before, especially when dealing with HDR scenarios. It would just sometimes make you look like your face was orange candy. It would mess things up. And I really didn't like that. It seems like the science has gotten a little bit better, so we're not really dealing with that. So I think the cameras are a win. The selfie camera is the same as last year. What you're seeing right now is my iPhone 14 Pro Max. I'm recording my selfie video. Hey, when it comes to video, basically the iPhone is where it's at. It's basically the best. And yeah, I have no problem saying that. They do such a good job with video. And I don't really have any heartburn they don't have 8K. It's funny, I was watching an MKBHD video, and he's like, it should do 8K. I mean, it's capable hardware-wise of doing 8K. I don't know. Call me old fashioned, but I just don't see the need for 8K yet, considering you can't even really get like real things to put 8K on. The real benefit to 8K right now is you can crop it down and you can just get a lot more data in there and make it look better at 4K for smaller sampling. Whoopity doo. I don't care for it on the Samsung. I don't care about OnePlus. I don't care with the iPhone. Like, I don't think 8K is really that big of a necessity yet, but call me crazy. So, my experience with the phone. iOS 17 has been mostly good. I have had some freezing where the screen will just freeze up on me while I'm in apps. I think it's probably more an app optimization thing than an iOS thing, but I had a lot of problems with that when it came to iOS 16. iOS 16 was a frustrating heap of garbage for me, and I quit using my iPhone 14 Pro Max as a phone. I was just using it as a dedicated camera to record videos for basically the last 6 months. So iOS 17 is better than iOS 16, but there's still a few things I think that they need to work out. Screen is beautiful, big, beautiful, bright screen, one-handedness. This is basically the best one-handed flagship experience when it comes to any smartphone. And I wish that Samsung would get online with this. I wish other manufacturers would. Other than my frustration with this not having the 5 times zoom special camera that the 15 Pro Max does, I think that this is a fantastic phone for the price. Now, $1,000 is expensive, but hey, it's basically the same as the 15 Pro Max. And that's what irks me with Samsung. When you take a look at the S23 Ultra, you get the Ultra, they give you everything, right? Well, then they dumb down the S23 and the S23 Plus. Doesn't have the same quality screen, doesn't have the macro lens, doesn't have the same high quality main camera. It just, there's certain things that they dumb down. It has a Quad HD, it doesn't have the Quad HD Plus screen, it has 1080p. So when you take a look at this, I wish that Samsung would emulate this model. I wish they'd just go S23 like Ultra and S23 Ultra Mini. I don't think we need the three different, we don't need an S23, a Plus, and an Ultra. I think two is probably fine, but make them equal. I would like to see that. So that's what I like about this phone. That's why I choose this phone. I don't like the big, huge phones. I test them out, I carry them when I need to, but for me, I like having the smaller, easier to use one-handed phones like the iPhone 15 Pro, also like my Sony Xperia 1 Mark V, things like that. So yeah, that's kind of my thoughts. I think by and large, it's mostly a good phone. There are some frustrations here and there. The battery life is just not good. I'm really only getting 4.5 to 5 hours of screen on time before I get to like 15-20% battery. And that's just unacceptable to me. And it's the same reason why it was unacceptable to me on the iPhone 14 Pro, especially back when I had the iPhone 13 Pro. I got 10 hours of screen on time out of that sucker. 10 hours, and now we're getting like 4.5, 5 hours. It's basically been chopped in half. And then I've had some folks say, hey, well, turn off the always on display. turn off the ProMotion display. If you're going to turn those things off, just go buy a regular iPhone. Why are you buying the Pro model? That's the whole point buying this phone. So I think we're still in a position where they haven't quite got all that worked out. I know the Pro Max is better. I've been hearing good reports about that. That's kind of where I'm at here. And some folks are like, "Oh, you're getting better battery than life. You don't know what you're talking about." Look, I've had this phone for this is going on day 8 right now, and like I said, I know I'm at charging cycle 11. If I put this on the charger, probably another 30 minutes, I'll be at charging cycle 12. So that means I'm on pace to basically have 80 to 85% battery health left within 1 year with the way I'm having to charge this phone. I effectively have to charge it almost twice a day to get it through the day. And some folks are like, "Oh, there's no way you have to do that." If you do the math, if I'm on going on my 12th charging cycle, 11 confirmed in basically 8 days, and that's having been using a battery pack for the last 3 days to maintain battery life, I'm sure that's influenced my charging cycles because it's basically sitting there maintaining the battery. Yeah, it's terrible. So if you need serious battery life, get the Pro Max or buy. Here's the other thing: the 15 Plus is probably going to be amazing. I've had some folks ask me about that. I'm sorry, I can't buy all of the iPhones and test all of them out. This isn't even an iPhone channel. It's just this is the new phone. They make one once a year. I cover it when it comes out. Yeah, if you don't care about having the telephoto camera or the ProMotion display, get an iPhone 15 Plus. Like the battery will basically last for forever. The 14 Plus battery was insane. So that's one thing I can give them some credit for. And yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this one up. Like I said, it's been a very frustrating experience. I really wanted to like this phone a lot, and there are things I do like. I love the flashlight. Well, the action button that I programmed for the flashlight. USB-C's even been nice. It was so cool that I went to New York City and I just carried one charging cable. That was it. One charging cable for my phone. I was able to charge my Android phone and my iPhone with the same charging cable. The screen is nice. ProMotion display is good. The cameras were very enjoyable to use while I was there. And I think they're probably going to get the heating stuff under wraps. I'm not too really worried about basically being able to break the phone if you want to try and Andre the Giant it with your hands. The real issues for me, just the battery life. Other than the battery life and then the frustration with the no 5x zoom camera, because I mean, they're both pro. Like they're both the same pro phone. They should have the same pro specs and stuff, right? So I'm going to try out the 15 Pro Max. That'll probably be my next iPhone video. I know some folks have been waiting for this. I actually had so I did an unboxing video. And then while I was deleting stuff to make space on my phone, I accidentally deleted the footage and like, I can't go back and unbox it. Like I can't go back. Going back to the future to fix that would be nice. But yeah, can't do that. So, verdict. Should you buy it? If you want it. Like, I think most people will largely be happy with it. Most people are not as abusive on the battery as I am, but I got to tell you, I've had a lot of folks in the comments who have said that they're returning the phone because the battery life is not good. So if you really need battery life, go 15 Pro Max or go 15 Plus. Don't buy this for battery life unless you're prepared to basically carry around a battery pack when you need to leave the house. If you're going to be gone all day doing things. So that's kind of it. I think there's a lot of things they did good here. I think there's a lot of things very enjoyable about this phone, but the battery life just it really ruins the entire thing. For I can't use this as a daily driver. Like I really can't, and it really frustrates me because I wanted to go back to the Pro phone, and looks like I might still be stuck with the Pro Max. So that's all I've got. If any questions or comments, please of course go to the comment section. I'll do my best to get back with you. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like and the subscribe button and little notification bell if you want updates when new videos come out. And as always, thanks for being here. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you guys next time.